Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first Shaw's Talk webinar of 2021. This is our Ask the Expert series, and today's topic is how do I know if play-based preschools suit my child? My name is Dana Newman, and I'm the Enrollment Manager for Shaw's Preschool Group. I have a bit of history with Shaw's as two of my own children attended Shaw's all the way through K2. My children have varied interests, but the one thing they share is they love to learn. And we feel Shaw has provided that loving, fun, exciting, safe environment for them to find something new to learn every day at school. Today we welcome Serina Teo, the curriculum specialist for Shaw's Preschool Group. Serina is not new to ShawsTalks. In September last year, she shared with us about the importance of play, and this is available on our YouTube channel. Serina started her career in early childhood right here at Shaw's 17 years ago. She holds a degree in engineering as well as a Master of Science in early childhood. Serina has taught from pre-nursery through kindergarten 2 before moving on to vice principal, then curriculum director, and her current role as curriculum specialist. Serina does training for our fantastic group of teachers across our 5 Shaw's schools. To give a brief outline of today's session, we will have Serina speaking with us about today's topic. How will I know if play-based preschool will suit my child? We will then have a brief question and answer session to follow. We invite you to use the chat function to send in your questions, and we'll try to get through as many questions as possible today. So welcome back, and thank you for joining us today, Serina.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back.
So Serina, last year in one of the previous talks, you shared about how important play is for young children. Being a play-based preschool, naturally, we agree wholeheartedly. But how do parents know if a play-based preschool is suitable for their child?
Okay, hang on, yeah. Okay. Well, first, let us expound on play. Okay, what is play? This is important as many people have different views on what play is. So play is actually a pleasurable process that a child is actively involved in. It is self-directed, individually constructed based on the child's interests, and it involves imagination and creativity. So play has some very specific characteristics. Perhaps as I go down the list of the characteristics, our parents here can relate to their own or even their children's play experience and see if most of these play characteristics show up. I will also relate it to my own play experience. I love sewing. You know, I picked that up since the circuit breaker last year. So it is a play to me. So we shall see where the characteristics show up, okay? So play for children, for everyone, should be active. So where your body, your mind, you know, you're interacting with objects and environment. So as I do my sewing and my stitching, I had to think about how to cut, how to combine the different fabric and parts together to form a dress or a bag. Okay, so I'm actively involved. And it should be adventurous and risky because children love to explore the unknown through pretend play. And they learn safely in this way. So now it's risky for me. How? In the process, if I miscalculate certain thing, I sacrifice raw material, right? So that's a risk I have to take. It is communicative because during play, children communicate their ideas and feelings, be it verbal or non-verbal, share with others what they know. So for my play experience, even though it's a solo project, I enjoy sharing it with my friends, you know, even on social media. Now, enjoyable, well, if it is not fun, it is not play. Children should play to have fun and not play to win. So I definitely had fun throughout the whole process and showing the end product. Now, being involved, see, play is children's work. So during work, they should be focused and totally involved and actively thinking about what they are doing. And then, and it is also meaningful. Children make sense of their work while playing. So it should be something meaningful to them. Typically, they build upon their current knowledge to acquire new information or skills. So for me, I have been wanting to pursue a minimal waste lifestyle, trying to. So to be able to repurpose old clothes is meaningful to me, right? And it is sociable and interactive. Sometimes children play in solitude, which is fine, but play involves a very good social setting for children to engage in social interaction. and build relationships, okay? It is symbolic. So children use things or self to represent certain roles or feelings, and this helps them test out what may or may not happen in real life. And then it's therapeutic because it's a way for children to relieve stress because it's enjoyable, right? Definitely enjoyable for me after a full day of doing a lot of paperwork, you know, even if I just sit in front of the TV and stitch away, that was like a de-stressor for me. And it has to be voluntary, right? It is something that children choose to do. It is spontaneous, something they can alter and manipulate freely. All right. So when we talk about play and learning, this is the play we're referring to. Okay, so in a nutshell, play should be voluntary, meaningful, sometimes symbolic, and adventurous learning process that is enjoyable, sociable, and therapeutic. And children should be actively involved during play.
Thank you, Serina. Thanks for the examples as well that we can put it in the framework of ourselves as adults. So thank you. So what does play have to do with children's learning and education?
Okay, so before I answer that, let's talk about how children learn, all right? So many may think that children can't learn anything until they can sit down, focus, listen, and thus there's a strong urgency to get children to read and write as early as possible. See, but children started learning from the day they are born, actually. How? So by being actively engaging their senses with the environment. So they observe things, they watch the faces, they respond to voices. Moms and dads, when your children are very young, just born, the infant, you know, you marvel at how your baby would respond to your voice, right? Yeah, or even touch your face. And just by hearing the mom sound, the child quickly calms down. And when they listen to sound, they start making sound as well. They gurgle or they sing, explore and touch and putting things in their mouth, right? They love to do that. As they grow older, they start asking you why, right? The non-stop of strings of why. And they experiment with the textures, objects, and they do things basically to stimulate their senses. So as they grow, they also learn by being involved. So they choose the things that they want to play. They personally do the tasks required. For instance, they measure the flour, they build with the building blocks, etc. So when you put play characteristics and how children learn together, they match perfectly. Children are born with the capacity to learn through play because children are naturally curious, right? As I said, from infancy, they're always reaching out to touch and explore, touching the faces of the person so close to them, and it's something meaningful, right? This is the person that is in close contact with them, putting things with their mouth, and it's all through the senses, and this is being actively involved. And they're naturally playful, so they can have a ball with a box or a brush, especially if it's something open-ended. So this covers the play being adventurous, being enjoyable, and being symbolic. And they're naturally sociable. When they play, they want to reach out to others and form connection. And they learn from each other too. So this, we're talking about the communicative aspect, sociable and interactive aspect of play characteristics. So back to your question about what has play got to do with learning. So when we use the word play, most people have this image that a child doing something frivolous, time-occupied activity to keep them distracted where the adults are not available to entertain them. But children are actually a lot more capable than this. As we have established above, talking about how children learn. So play is not just play. When children play, they are in fact developing in many, many areas. So at the foundation level, children are developing their executive function during these play episodes. So executive functions are a set of mental skills, including working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. Now, these are all very important skills that we all need. All of us need that. Yes, even the adults. It helps us learn. It helps us manage our daily life. And when you have trouble with executive function, you cannot focus and you can't follow directions. You cannot manage your emotions. And these executive function is necessary to help children develop skill set needed in the 21st century.
So Serina, what skill set are we talking about here that they need for the 21st century?
We are talking about the ability to collaborate, communicate, critical think, in all situations, and creative. Of course, this person should be confident in all his or her dealing. I mean, what I've painted above is a complete picture of why children need to learn through play, not just reading and writing. I mean, in fact, reading and writing is just a small part of what a child needs to learn. It's a tool for them, okay?
Mhm. So how does a play-based preschool make learning happen through play?
Okay, so a play-based preschool like Shaw's is one that believes strongly in the effectiveness and benefits of learning through play. So all lessons and activities are designed and engaged to engage the children through developmentally appropriate, meaningful and active play. So what may look like just play to many is actually the children at work learning through the play episodes. So let me walk you through how Shaw's use play experience to help the children learn. And we'll take this following inquiry that some of the children are into now. So we have some children who is studying on what is a plant, right? So at the side, I have prepared on your slides, right? You can see that I have prepared a table. Are we back?
Yes, sorry, it looks like we had some technical difficulties there, everyone. Thanks for staying with us.
Okay,
Serena, were
so
you there?
just,
Okay, thanks everyone.
okay, right. So let's start from how, okay, I was just about to start the process, right? Of
Yes,
a
exactly.
bit of
You're introducing your
walkthrough. Yeah.
table.
Yeah, we are to the table and we're using an inquiry, an existing inquiry in Shaw's to talk you through how it fits everything in nicely. So when we talk about what is plant, so we involve children in planting so that they have first-hand knowledge of what plants look or feel like. And through the process of planting, the children are using their senses, yeah? Children are actually going through the life cycle of a plant. Now, this will be a lot more meaningful to them as they actually experience it firsthand. And to know what to do, children observe what the teachers are doing, mimic the actions or the words. And this is a form of communication. Remember, communication is a two-way thing. It's not just talking, but listening as well. Okay? And while being actively involved in the process of looking after the plants, together with their classmate, the children figured out what worked, what does not. Okay, this is experimenting. So they take risk and have to critical think how to solve the problem. And they communicate by asking questions, sharing ideas with their friends. So they're being social and interactive and they collaborate. And when it's time to harvest, the children are again personally and actively involved. Think about what dishes they can cook with it, making it more meaningful again. And it's something that you would want to do. I mean, they would want to do, right? Because they planted the plant and now they're going to use it in the cooking, right? So they will really be excited about it. And that's voluntary. So as this is an ongoing process, children get to practice and gain confidence in their ability. So the above are all symbolic for children, right? As they are now doing things in a small scale within the safety of the school's environment. So it's meaningful to them and it's symbolic. And it will help them figure out what they have to do in the real world. Okay, so a lot of things, if you look at the table at the side, I kind of covered quite a lot of points in all the categories there. So yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. So where is all the reading and writing?
Okay, I know it's inevitable for me to have to address this, okay? So for the older children, they will be recording and documenting the process, right? Measuring the plant growth. And this is meaningful to them because they are personally invested in this. They are growing, keeping the plant healthy, growing and trying to see how far it can go. And it's not just a drill to practice writing, you see, but they are now recording information that's important to them. Now, as for the younger children, language development comes in the form of listening and oral communication. So this is where executive function is critical, as they need to be able to focus and follow instructions, right? That's true listening. So in the meantime, we build the children's fine motor skills from the moment they join us at pre-nursery level. So through activities like doll play, pegging, scooping, pouring, scribbling, etc., the children have fun. And they don't know that they're being trained on their fine motor skills, but it's fun and they enjoy it, and they will want to do it over and over again. And as parents and teachers, we can see the benefits of this. Children who learn these same things from a book may be able to name the parts of the plant, maybe, but children who learn through play, they learn all about the plant, how it lives, how it grows, how the water travels up the root, and how it dies. Okay, it happens, all right? We have to find out what happened. Did we not take good care of the plant? How did it wither? So along with the parts of plants. And there are so many opportunities for children to ask more questions about the things that they are curious about. Now, so you say, okay, so this teach the child to be a farmer. So if you don't fancy your child being a farmer, how about an engineer? So let's look at another play experience. So the inquiry now is on what material can we use to hold up a book? Okay. So what we did was we provide a range of material, unlikely ones, okay, the weird ones, for children to work on, material like spaghetti, paper, toilet rolls, etc. So if you're thinking, what? But these are more meaningful for our children now. So they come into contact with these things. They don't understand about concrete and cement, at this stage. What we want is for the children to get the concept of how things can be supported. So concept equals symbolic representation, okay? So they need to try, be actively involved, and experiment with the different material and see how many they have to use in order to hold up the book. So in the process, they risk the structure crumbling. Now, through the process, as they observe keenly with their eyes, ears, and their sense of touch, they will also figure out the most efficient spot to provide support. And this, we have critical thinking and creativity. Now, working as a group to figure things out takes collaboration skills. And while they collaborate, they have to communicate their ideas and ask questions. So as you can see in my sharing, I've covered most areas under the 3 categories, leaving a few red tags. But you look at the girl, yeah, do you think she enjoyed it? Most definitely, right? She couldn't stop smiling. Yeah, and all this sounds like STEAM, doesn't it? Yes, you're right. STEAM experiences for children is a form of play, just like cooking and planting.
Fantastic, Serina. Thank you so much. And it's wonderful how you can incorporate the materials that the kids are familiar with. We might not think that way. We're still thinking concrete and cement, aren't we, as adults? Yes. So thank you. So how do parents know for sure if the child has learned or gained anything from these exercises?
Okay, with every illustration above, besides connecting them to the characteristics of play, I've also connected them to the 21st century skill set. So this actually means that the children will gain even more. Not all of what your child learned comes with a grade. I mean, instead, they gain the skill set needed to face life, study life, work life, personal life. And as the saying goes, give a man a fish and you will feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you've fed him for a lifetime. So we'd rather teach your child to fish than to give him a fish.
Thank you, Serina. So one question we get quite often is, how do play-based preschools assess the children's learning? Could you explain that a bit for the parents, how we would assess the children's learning?
Of course. You see, through a lot of interaction and observation of children during play, this is how we assess them. You see, learning is a process, not a destination. So children learn as much as they play. Okay, the experiences, when they're actively involved in the process, they get to have. So for Shaws, we do have a set of rubrics as well as checklists, which we use to monitor where each child is at. And this is not just for assessment. I mean, it is also for the teachers to use so that they can plan extension activities for the children. Yeah.
Okay, great. So after everything you've shared in great detail with all those examples, would you be able to just do a quick just sum it up quickly for us?
Okay, sure. Okay. So actually, if your child is like any other child who learns best through experiencing processes, through active engagement and with the environment, including people and objects, and through questioning, then a play-based preschool would work perfectly for your child. That's the conclusion we have here.
Thank you so much for explaining how play is the natural way for children to learn and to be prepared for life in and out of school. Surely their job is just to play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you for that. So now we're going to go to our question and answer session, which is always fun. And it looks like we have quite a few here. So if we could just go through those now. Okay, we've got. What is the difference between the local system, play-based, Reggio Emilia, Montessori, etc.?
Okay, each curriculum or philosophy prepares children in different ways. For Shaws, what we want is to prepare our children at preschool for primary school. So what we do at Shaws is to prepare them through play. There is plenty of research that shows children learn best through play, and that's what we do at Shaws.
Thank you. Or another question here. How is my child going to learn math, numeracy through playing?
Okay, for younger children, right? Young children, and when I say young children, I actually mean, up to 6 years old, they're still considered young, okay, parents? Okay, so we take ordinal numbers as an example, right? Ordinal numbers means it's about teaching the children position and placement, first, second, third. So instead of doing worksheets, we create arrays in the classroom. The children are encouraged to bring in their toy cars in class, and we'll set up ramps and tracks with blocks and tapes, together to set up a circuit. So then the children will take turns to push their cars up or down the ramp or along the track. And later on, we'll all decide which car comes in first, second, or third, etc., as the numbers go on. Now, they will have the opportunity to tag the car with labels that was prepared beforehand. So from the above, we have created a construction play experience for them, physical and mastery play, because they have to try all the different ways to push a car forward so that they can get the car to be placed first. They are very actively involved, and as they repeatedly carry out this play experience, they repeatedly get to experience and try out placing them in a different position. So, so to have his or her car placed first, the child will have to persevere, problem solve, think critically about what he has to do. So once they have mastered the concept, right, they will be able to handle activity sheets with ease. I mean, these activity sheets are just simply reinforces what the children have learned. We want them to understand the concept, not just memorizing formula. Yeah.
Great. So let's see here. We have another one here. It's interesting, as I only saw play as important for toddlers, but you have explained how important play is for the older children too, and how they learn and understand through play. How are teachers trained to teach through play? This is something we get often. They're wondering how are our teachers trained to teach through play?
Okay, in Singapore, teachers are trained to embrace play in children's learning, but in short, we continue to provide teachers with numerous training opportunities, both in theory and on the ground. A substantial part of my time is spent on training, supporting, and checking that the teachers are using play appropriately in their lessons. Naturally, as adults, teachers are adults, right? A higher level of training is involved, specifically with the theoretical aspects, and also from the fact that they should have a longer attention span than children, right? Yeah. But when it comes to trying it out, right, the best way is for the teachers to experience play themselves. So some of the things I've done with the teachers includes teaching them a new language through game. I know a little bit of Korean, so I use that as an example and let them experience how children would learn language. And we've also tried things like investigate, based on the food tasting. They are supposed to figure out what I've put inside the guacamole, and then they will pick one of the ingredients, and then they want to explore more, find out more about all the ingredients that's used. So yeah, so they actually get to play, they get to eat. That's how we train them.
Fantastic. Okay, here's another question. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, I so love the benefits of play. I hear you, Serina, but I am still worried. What if my child cannot cope with the change in learning in P1 from a play-based preschool to primary one? Okay.
Okay, so I speak for Shaws. Okay, yes, children will be prepared for, as our school has the academic objectives in place with the play-based curriculum. Primary school concept has a lot of foundation on play as well, although in the school context, they are not doing play per se. So if we talk about math, right, when we introduce the concept of multiplication to the children, we don't make them memorize the times table. We prepare many baskets and get the children to place the same number of items in each basket. So this becomes, for example, 4 groups of 5 oranges. And when they count all the oranges, they will realize that 4 groups of 5 makes 20. I mean, we can even dramatize the story. A farmer needs help to harvest 30 oranges. Let's all help him. But each basket can only contain 5 oranges. Let's see how many baskets we can make. So when children learn through being actively involved in play, they're able to visualize and make better sense. Very much like the modeling concept that primary school use. So yes, they will be better prepared for primary with play, but not just primary 1. They will have the concept that they will see them pass primary 1. And of course, we hope that parents will continue to let your child play once they leave preschool, yeah? So if you believe children learn best through play, you should go to a play-based preschool. Children will cope. By the time they are in K2, the children are ready to transit to P1. I mean, I would not worry about that if that's your concern. I mean, that your child learn and will let your child learn, and they will love learn through play, I mean, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. My little one is really active, so he will definitely enjoy a play-based preschool. But how will you get him to sit down and listen? This is another common one we get, actually.
Okay, so I've mentioned above, play experience is not just for children to play, but remember I spoke about developing the executive function, yeah? That is the ability to focus, develop working memory, etc. So this is even more relevant for an active child, right? Because we're training and helping them to develop executive function through play-based activity. That will be totally appropriate for an active child. This is because it's hands-on and it's adventurous. Active children thrive on hands-on activities, and they are busy and engaged all the time. I mean, in addition, in our play-based curriculum, children are always playing, so it's not a novelty to them. So in a social situation, they will be the expert in playing and socializing, and they'll be teaching everybody how to play. So yeah, I think play is even better for an active child.
Perfect. Good to know they're going to learn all those executive function skills too. Okay. All right. So it looks like we've reached the end of our time today. Thank you very much to all of you who took the time to join us this afternoon. And thank you, Serina, for sharing this valuable information for the parents still deciding on if the play-based preschool is going to suit their child. To those of you that we did not get to yet, we'll contact you separately to answer your questions. If you would like to revisit this session at all or to view our previous ShawsTalks episodes, please visit our Shaws YouTube channel at the link in the chat box. We hope you all can join our next webinar in the ShawsTalks Ask the Expert series. That's going to be how do I settle my child into preschool? So that's going to be this coming Tuesday, 23rd February at 4 p.m. So please mark your calendar. That's Tuesday, 23rd